Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I have not done a gig in a while. Listen, I just gonna be with you for about 5 minutes, not more than that. But I have, a few things to talk about. And it regards regarding the PNP and the JLP on the issue of corruption in Jamaica. Right? Transparency International, an agency that deals with corruption and in various countries or in countries all over the world, right? Transparency International published a report, and in that report it states where the PNP was more corrupt than the JLP is at the moment. In other words, there were more corruption and scandals under the PNP in their 18 year in office, plus 4, than the JLP at the moment. Right? PNP Youth Organization President Crystal Tomlinson and a candidate for the PNP in St. Andrew, right? Posted on her Twitter account the actual report in the form of a graph. But apparently it seems Crystal Tomlinson did not know how to read the graph. Because in the graph, the closer you go, you get to 0, is the more corrupt the country is. The further you get away from 0 is the least corrupt the country is. And so it was 38 under the PNP, which is more corrupt. And I think it is at 44 under the JLP, which is least corrupt. Right? Well, Crystal Tomlinson was attacked from all angles on Twitter. Right? The tribalists came at her. The tribalists came at her. Right? And I think she said in response to the attack that came at her, I will paraphrase her, I don't have the exact words. She said, "Wamifido, not publish the part that is not beneficial to my party." I think, and he went on to say that she's a fair person, right? You know, sir, this is my problem with the PNP, and this is my problem when it comes to the issue of corruption. Corruption is something that is very, very important, right? To the proper functioning of a democratic society. Okay? There were more scandals under the PNP than the JLP. That's a fact right there. There were at least 30 scandals under the PNP, with Philip Paulwell accounting for most of the scandals. Right? Scandals means corruption. That's exactly what it is. It's corruption. It breeds corruption. Right? It's like having a fire without smoke. There has to be smoke from a fire. The PNP keeps attacking the JLP on corruption, which is fine. Fair. Right? But I sort of have a problem with that, and I tell you why. If the PNP wants to be taken seriously on the issue of corruption, this is my advice to the PNP. Damon Crawford offered a vague apology for the PNP's for scandals and corruption under the PNP while he was running for Member of Parliament in East Portland last year. Right? A vague apology. Right? This is what the PNP needs to do. The PNP needs to man up, apologize, admit wrongdoing for all the scandals and corruption that occurred under their watch, right? And then apologize to the Jamaican people, and then put forward plans, credible plans to tackle corruption should they form the next government. But you cannot go on attacking the JLP for being corrupt without first admitting guilt while your party was in power. Right? It doesn't make sense. Right? And this is what bothers me. The party is acting as if they're less corrupt than the JLP. When the PNP is not less corrupt is not less corrupt than the JLP. Facts and statistics have proven that they are not less corrupt than the JLP. And if the party wants to be taken seriously on corruption, you can't attack the JLP on corruption when your party, when the PNP, presided over a country where corruption ran rampant. Right? You have to deal with that first. I mean, you can attack the JLP and criticize the JLP still. And you should. The PNP should. But if the PNP wants to be taken seriously with any credibility, they have to visit their past and talk about corruption under their watch, which was plentiful. Plentiful. Right? They have to deal with that. They have to deal with that. Right? Because I will not take the PNP serious on the business of corruption until they deal with that. I won't listen to them. No. I won't listen to the PNP. Neither should Jamaicans listen to them. Neither should the people of Jamaica listen to the PNP when they're talking about corruption under the JLP, because the PNP was more corrupt than the JLP. Transparency International says so. Crystal Tomlinson says so. And I said so. Right? Because if the PNP doesn't do that, this is what will happen. When they win when they win any election in the future, right? Corruption will come back again, will continue, and on and on and on it goes. Because if they have not come clean on it, then they can't be taken seriously about dealing with corruption. Right? So that is my point on corruption, and in dealing with it in a strong and sensible way. That makes sense. Strong anti-corruption laws. That's what is needed. Right? That is my advice to the PNP. Thank you very much.